First up tonight, we have Gary here to come up and entertain us. Everybody, give it up for Gary. Come on.
I should have introduced you.
Thank you. It's been almost 6 years since my first book, Remembering Flint, Michigan, came out. It's still a seller. In fact, the last time I was at the Sloan Museum, it was sold out.
All right.
So, of course, you can still get them at the local stores like Barnes & Noble and the backseat of my car, as well as the online sources. as well as the online sources like Amazon. And the cover price, as you probably know already, is $19.99.
Only $19.99.
That's right. And I'm almost finished putting together material for my second book, of which the working title is Hidden Flint. Now, for the past couple of weeks or so, I've been working on the chapters that should fill up the book, and one of them I'm going to present tonight by request. Many of the chapters I've been writing, I've been giving sneak peeks on my book's Facebook page, which is also called Remembering Flint, Michigan. And in it, among other things, you can see the proposed list of the table of contents for the working title book, Hidden Flint. So, here is a piece which, again, by request, I will read. This was inspired by the 100th anniversary of the Applewood estate that Charles Druid Mott built for his family, and is now open for tours thanks to the Druid Mott Foundation. This piece is called The Executive Homes on East Kearsley Street. When Charles Druid Mott's Applewood estate was being built on what was then the edge of town on East Kearsley Street in 1916, that street east of downtown served as a home for many notable executives. For example, George C. Wilson lived at 422 East Kearsley, was a banker and served as director and chairman of Genesee County Savings Bank, which evolved into Genesee Merchants Bank and Trust through the merger with Merchants and Mechanics Bank. Wilson's mother was a daughter of local lumber baron and Michigan Governor Henry Grable. The house he grew up on is now Wilson Park on the University of Michigan Flint downtown campus. Charles Druid Mott lived across the street at 423 East Kearsley. When he moved into Applewood, Albert Champion moved into that house. Champion founded 2 spark plug companies. He was a bicycle racer who founded in 1905 the Albert Champion Company in Boston in partnership with the Stranahan brothers, which by 1907 was manufacturing spark plugs. In 1908, Billy Durant persuaded Champion to move to Flint to establish the Champion Ignition Company. The Stranahans filed a lawsuit regarding the Champion name, which led to a settlement in 1922, in which the Champion Ignition Company was renamed the AC Spark Plug Company, utilizing Champion's initials. At the time J. Bradford Pengali lived at 412 East Kearsley, he was Reverend Pengali, who served as rector of St. Paul's Episcopal Church. He later changed careers and became a real estate developer. For example, he led the group of developers which built the Capitol Theater. Now let me digress. This has been a really exciting time downtown, as if you've been passing by the Capitol Theater lately, they're doing a full-blown restoration and renovation.
Yes!
Woo! And if you look in the dumpster, I've been looking at some old theater seats in the dumpster. Hopefully the new theater seats will be very comfortable and retro-looking.
What are they going to do with those seats?
Probably wind up recycling, I hope. Well, those seats weren't in great shape to begin with now,
So
and they
they're
weren't
in
the
the
original
dumpster
seats
right
to be. They were not the original seats to begin with. When the Capitol was remodeled, I like to use the word remodeled in terms of terrible remodeling, back in 1957, they also changed the seats. So I hope the new seats will be similar to the original seats, and again, very comfortable, like the ones at the Lebowski Center in Owasso, which used to be called the Capitol Theater. When they rebuilt that theater after the fire, they made some enhancements to it. Doesn't look like the same it did, they couldn't afford to, but they made a nice place to see a show with retro-looking and comfortable seats. Back to my piece. Before the I'll try this again. Behind the Capitol Theater building was a former Patterson factory building, which he converted into an office building called the Pingali Building, where he established his office. It served as a home for several labor unions and served as the base of operations for the 1936/37 Flint sit-down strike. That aging building was torn down during World War II. Where 412 East Kearsley once stood as the University of Michigan Flint downtown campus. Living at 514 East Kearsley was Walter P. Chrysler, who in 1917 led the Buick Motor Division of General Motors. Chrysler left GM when his contract with GM expired in 1919. Chrysler acquired controlling interest in the Maxwell Motor Company in 1921, which became Chrysler Corporation. After Chrysler moved away, Dodge dealer Dallas Winslow moved in. Winslow tried to save the ailing Harrison Company, which was making motor vehicles, but was unsuccessful. Later serving as the home to an architect who was gone by 1972. Horace C. Spencer lived at 517 East Kearsley. He was a banker who began locally in the hardware business. He held executive positions with Genesee County Savings Bank and at Citizens Commercial and Savings Bank. That address would become the King's Daughters and Sons home, which, as with the neighboring homes, fell victim to the construction of I-475. James G. Mallory lived at 527 East Kearsley. He owned the Flint Buggy Company. His son Harvey also worked at the Buggy Company. Harvey would later become a vice president and controller at Buick. He moved into the house after his father's death. Arthur G. Bishop and his son R. Spencer Bishop lived across from what was then Richfield Road, which later became Lewis Street, and even later is now Chapman's Drive. The younger Bishop lived at 528 Kearsley, and the elder lived at 606 Kearsley. Both led Genesee County Savings Bank, and Arthur G. Bishop donated land for the development of Bishop Airport. Harry Weingarten lived at 621 East Kearsley. The Russian immigrant co-founded the New Orleans Fruit House, which was a successful fruit and later meat market. Harry and his brother Hyman added another business venture, Weingarten Furniture. He would become a director of Citizens Bank. He co-founded the local Reform Synagogue, Temple Bethel. Robert J. Whaley was another banker who led Citizens Bank. The loans he approved led to the formation of General Motors. That home on 624 East Kearsley is still standing and is now the Whaley House Historic House Museum. And I hope they have enough money to rebuild the house after that fire, which damaged the roof and attic. Apparently insurance, despite what you hear in some of those commercials, didn't cover everything like roof depreciation. I guess roofs do depreciate over time. Sorry about that, but let's hope they quickly restore the Whaley House again. Edward T. Strong lived at 703 East Kearsley. He was a Buick executive who would go on to become president of Buick. He would later build and move into a large castle-like Mediterranean revival home in the Woodcroft Estate subdivision south of Mill Road, where grander executive homes were built beginning in 1925. Built in 1930 and later owned by members of the Hamby family of grocery fame, the home on Parkside Drive was recently restored by its current owners. The Kearsley Street home disappeared by the time Walker School, which is now the Walker Place building, was built. Charles T. Bridgman lived at 814 East Kearsley. He was the Bridgman half of the Smith-Bridgman department store downtown, which became Flint's largest department store in its peak years. Bridgman was also the first president of the Union Trust and Savings Bank, which was located downtown where the Mott Foundation building now stands. The Kearsley Manor apartment building now stands where the Bridgman house once stood. Matthew Davison was also an executive of Union Trust and Savings Bank. He served as the bank's cashier for many years and ultimately served as chairman of the board. He also served as Flint's mayor in 1885. He lived at 817 East Kearsley, where Walker Place now stands. John D. Windiot lived at 902 East Kearsley. He was a real estate developer and a partner in the Windiot Pierce Davison real estate firm with John L. Pierce and Arthur M. Davison. The firm developed several subdivisions in Flint. Townhouses were built where Pierce lived. At 1025 East Kearsley stood a large stately home where carriage and automaker J. Dallas Dorff lived. After he died, his widow Marcia continued to live in that house until she donated that home in 1958 for use as a music school building, which developed into the Flint Institute of Music. Originally called the Dorff Music Building, expansion began in 1970 utilizing the old Dorff home, but during construction, the former home was destroyed by fire. Today, the expanded facility housing the Flint Institute of Music is called the J. Dallas Dorff Music Center, housing the Flint School of Performing Arts and the Flint Symphony Orchestra. Now to digress, as I may have said, I'm still working on the J. Dallas Story chapter in my book, and I sent a message to the Flint Institute of Music asking about how much either, I hope it's donated, but also could have been sold to be used as a music school. Finally, where Kearsley Street now ends at Robert T. Longway Boulevard is Mott's Applewood estate, which after Charles Stewart Mott's widow Ruth Mott died in 2012, the Ruth Mott Foundation took over Applewood, which began offering regularly scheduled tours in 2016. This piece may sound a little incomplete. I may do enhancements before I complete the book to send to the publisher. And that is my piece for this month, and I thank you very much.
Well, you have a map in that book too, you know, a map.
Oh yeah.